This year, because Pesach falls out on Motzei Shabbat, it presents certain challenges that we don't have every other year. Generally, every year on the 14th of Nisan at night, we make B'dikat Chametz. The next morning, the 14th of Nisan in the morning, the following morning, we are permitted to eat chametz in the morning. We burn our chametz in the morning, and after that, the rest of the day, which is every year Erev Pesach, we are not permitted to eat chametz, and we are not permitted to eat matzah. But what we do generally every year is we would eat other foods during the day. This year, we cannot do b'dikat chametz the night of the 14th, and we cannot burn the chametz the day of the 14th because it's Shabbat. We're not going to go around with a candle or a flashlight on Shabbat, of course, and Shabbat morning we're not going to burn chametz, of course. Therefore, we make b'dikat chametz Thursday night. Our house is clean, ready for Pesach already, ready for b'dikah Thursday night. Thursday night we go around with the candle, do the search. Friday morning, we're going to make sreifat chametz. We're going to burn the chametz Friday morning by 11:45. And at that point, we are going to only have chametz in a set amount, meaning from Thursday night, when we finished our b'dikah, all the way until Shabbat morning, we're permitted still to eat chametz because it's only the 13th and then it's going into the 14th. We are permitted to eat chametz, but the house has already been cleaned for Pesach by Thursday night, and the only chametz you have is the set amount of chametz. Put aside what you need to eat Friday morning, Friday night, and Shabbat morning. Friday afternoon, you're allowed to eat chametz, but you're going to be very careful because your house is completely cleaned for Pesach already. You're finished. Thursday night, your house was cleaned for Pesach. So any chametz you're going to be eating Friday, you're going to be eating carefully in a corner and watching every crumb so as not to drop anything on the floor because your house was cleaned for Pesach. Friday night, you sit down to your Shabbat meal. All the food that you're going to be eating is Pesach food because your house is completely kosher for Pesach. The only thing you're going to be eating is a small amount of bread. You're going to make kiddush. You're going to put a plastic tablecloth out over your table. Everyone will have an individual roll that they will eat over the plastic tablecloth carefully. After you finish eating your roll, you wrap up the plastic tablecloth, flush the crumbs down the toilet, and throw that tablecloth out in the garbage after you took the crumbs off and flushed them away. Then you'll go into your Friday night Shabbat meal, regular kosher for Pesach food. Shabbat morning, again, you're allowed to eat chametz up until 10:30. You are not permitted to eat matzah Erev Pesach, but you are permitted to eat chametz Shabbat morning up until 10:29. What you're going to do is you're going to daven early, you'll come home, you will have, again, a full Pesach meal, but at the start of the meal, you're going to put out a separate plastic tablecloth. Everyone is given an individual roll or an individual pita so that it doesn't crumb much. You eat over the table. Everyone finishes their roll before 10:30. You take any crumbs you have, you flush them down the toilet, then you go into a regular Pesach meal. At this point, once 10:30 comes, you are prohibited in eating any more chametz. You will say kol chamira at that point. You will annul any chametz that you have in your possession. Now, one needs to eat su'udah shlishit. So, an Ashkenazi has an option to eat su'udah shlishit in the morning, and therefore he could try to have a second bread meal before 10:30. But Sfardim can't do that. Bet Yosef says su'udah shlishit must be eaten in the afternoon. You need to eat su'udah shlishit. You have no options, though, because you can't eat bread, and Erev Pesach you can't eat matzah. What are you going to do for su'udah shlishit? Preferred is you will take a matzah, and this is the advice for a Sfardi, take a matzah before Shabbat, boil it in water, and being that it's a boiled matzah, a matzah mevushelet, the matzah loses the taste of matzah, and one is permitted to eat that matzah Erev, Pesach, Shabbat, up until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. After 4, one cannot have any matzah. And that is the way you can eat Sudah Shlishit. Or you could take a more lenient approach and just eat fish or meat for Sudah Shlishit. This is option 1. There's a second option, and this is easier for people who maybe have young children and they don't want to have any chametz crumbs in their house Friday night, Shabbat morning. The other option is Thursday night you make your bedika, Friday morning you finish any leftover chametz, and then when you make your sreifat chametz, you're completely chametz free. Not a crumb of chametz in your home. The rest of Friday you eat matzah. Friday night, if you wish, you eat matzah. Shabbat morning, you are not permitted to eat matzah Erev Pesach. So for the Shabbat morning meal, you eat matzah mevushelet. Again, you take a matzah before Shabbat, you stick it in a boiling pot of water, take it out quickly so it doesn't crumble, and you will eat that boiled matzah for the Shabbat morning meal. And then again, you will eat boiled matzah for the Shabbat Sudah Shlishit meal in the afternoon before 4 o'clock. And this way, from Friday morning, when you burn your chametz, there is absolutely no chametz in your house, and it's less confusing. That is option number 2. Chag Sameach.